Okay, so I have a story to tell you about Meijer, which is where I was just at with my friends. And I might make another separate video on this later. But basically, they told me I was not allowed to film inside the store. Now, I totally understand if it's their policy. I get that. You know, we're going into a public place. They have their own rules. I completely understand that. But I think that the way they handled the situation by getting someone in corporate, I think that was not the best choice. And you know, I was just filming myself, and I wasn't filming anyone. I wasn't making a scene. I was just doing my thing. And you know, when the person went to me and told me, you know, what is it that I'm doing, I just kindly said that, and respectfully said that I'm just making a video because I have a YouTube channel. So after I said that, the person told me that I needed to get permission to film, which I think is kind of strange. You know, as far as I'm concerned, like, I have every right to film in a public place. Now, I get if it's Meijer, it's a store, they have their policy, but I don't know maybe it just seems a little bit odd. And I'm probably going to do another segment of this because I think this is actually a pretty interesting experience. So yeah, I'll share more about what happened in another video.
CFC. If you guys want to do that, I'll drop out. I just want that.
Alrighty, this is, I guess, the continued segment of my experience at Meijer. I'm filming this in one of my friend's dorm rooms, so we'll see how this goes. Okay, so I should probably sort of give you just, I guess, the story of, you know, basically what happened, and then I can sort of just talk about sort of my thoughts about the experience. Before I begin, I guess the first thing I want to say is that I am not making this video to blame or to bash the company Meijer. I think they are a good company. I think that they have good employees, good intentions, and I like shopping there. So I'm not making this to just complain and rant. You know, that's not who I am, and this is not the type of video. Really, the reason behind why I guess I wanted to make this video really is because I think that the experience that I had at Meijer, I think it's brought up some really interesting ideas. At least it's made me think about, and so I just wanted to share this with you. And you know, maybe some of the ideas that I share from my experience, maybe it resonates with you, and that's awesome. You know, because I think that we should live in a way in society where we can be open and we can talk about differences of ideas, even if we disagree with them. And so I am just making that contribution. And I don't know why, but my stabilizer seems to be moving the camera, but I'll try and keep it mostly centered. Okay, so basically the story. I was out with my friends the other night with my, we went to Meijer, and we were just getting some stuff. Mainly, they were getting stuff. A lot of times, sometimes I just sort of tag along with them just for the fun of it. And so they were just getting, I think, like some, you know, college food and, you know, getting resupplies and whatnot. So I was just following them around, and I brought my video and my video stabilizer, and I was just, you know, shooting video of them and, you know, of the store. And, you know, I wasn't when I was filming, you know, what I did at Meijer, I was not making a big scene. You know, and I'm someone who, you know, is very keen to detail. And so, you know, the last thing that I want to do is intentionally just go out of my way to make a scene or to have people just look at me. You know, that's not what I do. So yeah, I was just sort of getting content of them and trying to, you know, I had some ideas in my head of like, oh, okay, I want to make this kind of like a fun sort of trip and adventure at Meijer. So I was, you know, getting footage of them and doing a couple time lapses, and I really like time lapses a lot, and so I don't know. That's for another time. But anyway, basically where this story sort of picks up is I was standing in the like electronic section where all of the TVs were, and I was just standing there at the time, and I actually wasn't filming anything. I think one of my friends, I was talking to one of my friends, we were like getting stuff, so we were just waiting, and basically, yeah, we were just talking, and I had my stabilizer, which is what holds this up, but I wasn't filming anything at the time, and we were just talking, and then one of the employees sort of asked us a question, and the employee basically said, you know, what are you doing? That was the very first thing that this employee said to us. That, you know, this employee didn't say hi. This employee didn't say, you know, how's your day? You know, can I help you find anything? The very first thing that the employee said was, what are you doing? And when this employee said that, I knew that it was about videoing. You know, it was just obvious. And so I said that basically I told this employee after they asked, you know, what are you doing? I said, I'm making a video because I have a YouTube channel. And this employee said, do you have permission? And I said, I do not. And then the employee proceeded to say, well, you're going to have to either get permission or I'm going to have to get someone else. And that was when I sort of realized, like, okay, I guess I'm not allowed to film in this store, which it's fine. And then the employee went on to say that they were going to get someone in corporate position to see, you know, if it was allowed for me to film. Okay, so that's fine, I guess. You know, I get it. Like, you know, an employee's doing the best that they can in that situation, and you know, so I'm not gonna blame the employee. You know, it's not necessarily their fault. Anyway, you know, so then I'm waiting with my friends for a couple of minutes, and a few minutes go by, and then I see someone with this employee, and I'm guessing that was the person in corporate, who it turns out it is. And basically the person in corporate went up to us and said that we do have to get some sort of permission from, you know, like upper management or corporate position to be able to film in a store at Meijer. And then, you know, after they said that, I said, then yeah, I'm going to, you know, comply, and I'm not going to make a scene. I'm not going to, you know, stand up and be like, this is somehow like a personal attack. I basically told them that, yeah, like, okay, I understand, and, you know, I'm not going to. I said two things. One, I said I'm not going to film anymore, and then I also said too that I'm not going to post or put any of this video content on social media. So. Hey, what's up? I'm just talking about the Meijer experience. Oh, so yeah, if you ever want to join in later and chime in, go right ahead.
I'll think of something.
Okay, all right. He has something. Alrighty. Where was I? Sorry, I like lose track with my friends. Oh, yes. So basically, yeah, the person in corporate said, you know, we needed to get permission, and so after that, I stopped recording anything else. And I deleted, you know, I made a decision to just, yeah, I'll delete, because that's what I said. That was my word, and that's going to be my responsibility. So I deleted all of the content that I got from Meijer. And it was a little disappointing, but I also, I guess, just realized that, again, you know, I had said that I was not going to specifically post anything of me in the store, you know, at Meijer. So that's what I did. Okay, so that's basically the gist of it, of the story, and I'm doing my best to not, you know, put any bias or, you know, to make it one-sided, because I don't think that this situation is necessarily one-sided. You know, I didn't feel like I was attacked, or, you know, like this is not one of those things or situations where, like, it's like where there was an obvious like difference of, you know, dynamic of power or whatever it is. This was just a situation where it sort of left me thinking, I guess, about the experience, and it sort of brought up a couple of questions in mind that I had. I guess, one of the first questions that I had as I was walking out of Meijer was, I was just thinking of like, I wonder why it is that Meijer has a policy where you're not allowed to video anything when you're in the store. I just wonder that, because I mean, like, I'm sure they have their reasons. I'm sure it's all there, legally somewhere written, in document, that really does state the reasons why. But it makes me wonder, because they have security cameras all throughout the store, and that pretty much they can see everyone. They can see everything pretty much at any time. So I don't know. It made me wonder, like, if they're allowed to have security cameras that can track literally everything, why as a civilian, as a customer, why am I not allowed to just, record something in their store? Because especially, of what I do on social media, in terms of, working with companies and going about that route, I sort of saw it almost as like free advertising, free publicity, making a just funny little, not too serious, college video of just, some friends, getting stuff at Meijer. I don't know, it just seems like, out of all of the things that they could deny in terms of video, I feel like what I was trying to do was very casual, and it wasn't something that, in any way was going to be a threat to the store or to other customers or employees. So yeah, that was one of the questions that I sort of was just thinking is, okay, why is it that they don't allow, to film? Another question that came to mind was, I was just sort of wondering about the initial, the initial step that the employee did with us as a customer. It's interesting, because it's like, I feel like with what happened is like, there was a situation that came about because someone made a situation about it. Like I said, I was just standing with my friend, wasn't even recording, I was just talking to him. And the employee, like I said, first thing that this employee says to us is, "What are you doing?" Now, I completely understand, if this employee has, is wondering, what it is that I'm doing. They have every right. It's their store. But I think that, because that was the very first thing that the employee said to a customer, I just wonder if that was necessarily the best way to take that first step. If the employee first said, "Hi, is there anything I can help you with?" and like, "Oh, by the way, I was wondering, is that piece of device, is that yours?" Now, if the employee had started off that way, okay, then I could have, it would have been much more, I think, friendly, and I think it would have been much easier for myself to explain what it was I was doing. I kind of felt that already when the employee had asked, "What are you doing?" that it was almost like I was having to like defend, what it was I was doing. So there was that, and I don't know, it's like, again, I'm not trying to make a big deal out of this. I'm really not. I'm just simply wanting to bring up this situation, so hopefully that, this can bring about some ideas, and because it definitely made me think a little bit, because I've filmed a lot in like public places and, like restaurants and hotels and, that sort of stuff. And yeah, I've been asked a couple of times, that I'm not allowed to film in certain spots, and I understand. But I think with this situation and how the employee initially sort of greeted me as a customer, I guess that's the only thing that kind of really sort of left me with a sting, was, this whole situation kind of came about because this employee wanted to sort of make it this situation. If the employee didn't even say anything, I probably would have a fun little video that of my friends and I at Meijer, and I would have posted it for one of my daily vlogs on my YouTube channel. Probably would have, mentioned it in one of my Instagram stories, and I have, I don't know, a following of around 13,000 at least on my main account. So it's like, because of that one small decision, it's like, I don't know, they're just, in some ways, they're kind of just losing out because they were pretty much going to get free marketing. I mean, I was more than happy to just film content and, show something entertaining for no cost. I wasn't like being sponsored by Meijer to make a fun video. I just wanted to do it because, I made a decision that I wanted to showcase more of just my everyday life and to be very honest with you about my life, So that's sort of where I'm at with this situation. And again, I just want to say this again, that this video is not meant to bash Meijer at all, or the employee, or the person in corporate. Like I said again, I have a lot of respect for people that, for some of them, their life, it's paycheck to paycheck. And I take that very seriously, because I feel like I'm in a very, very fortunate position with my life, and I never want to take that for granted. And I know that for some employees, even at Meijer, but just, in general, a lot of them are working paycheck to paycheck, and they're just trying to do the best they can. And I 100% understand, I can't obviously understand like how difficult it can be, but I understand that it's not always easy. And the last thing that I would want to do is to disrespect or to make someone else's life, more difficult. So yeah, that just wanted to share that with you. And I'm totally fine with not videoing in Meijer if that's the decision going forward. I'm totally fine with that. It's not that in and of itself is not really why I am so concerned. Really, it was just sort of the step that the employee took that I guess that's the only thing that sort of I guess I questioned about. But really, maybe in some ways this was good that this all happened, because now I can talk about this, and this can sort of bring about something good. So I might have my friends chime in another segment, but that's basically pretty much all of what I wanted to share. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. And I guess this will be, I'll add this to my other short little video that I had when I was walking out of Meijer. But yeah, this pretty much just sort of wraps up my experience at Meijer. And I love you guys at Meijer. You're doing great things, so just keep doing that. And yeah, that's my story with Meijer.